I'm ready, Chillify. I'm just an ordinary secretary who's a little bit fond of money. I've been CEO Arthur II's secretary for 7 years. He recently got engaged. That young lady, Eleanor Lee, draped herself around Arthur II's arm, pointed at me and said, "Fire her and we'll get married immediately." Arthur II coldly pushed her hand away. Then there's no need for a wedding, is there? I'm just an ordinary secretary. What do I have to do to prove that I'm just an ordinary secretary? I was planning to make a substantial sum while preparing for that wedding. That day, I happened to pass by the marketing department and overheard Mark Ma complaining, "Have you all met the future boss lady? She's truly a real princess. Secretary Ye is pretty, sure, but compared to this young lady, she utterly lacks the rich girl aura." I paused for a step. Praise the boss lady all you want, be as enthusiastic as you please. What am I? I'm just a regular employee. Where would I get an elite aura? Give me 10 million, and maybe I can transform into an elite aura on the spot. Poor her, following CEO to for so many years, and in the end, CEO to still decided to marry a prestigious young lady. To marry into a rich family, you have to consider matching backgrounds, you know? Don't even mention it. Evelyn Ye is also suffering. The engagement news just broke, and I saw her looking 10 years older. If I was speechless before, hearing this made my head fill with question marks. What does Arthur to getting married have to do with me? Why should I look haggard? If I look haggard, it's because of overtime. I quickly returned to my office, chugged a bottle of collagen, and calmed down. Then I picked up the HR files and knocked on Arthur II's office door. "Come in." His voice was as deep and captivating as ever. I pushed the door open, reported the afternoon meeting schedule and related documents, then handed him the folder. "This is the promotion list drafted by HR. I've reviewed it. The marketing department didn't meet its sales targets this year. No one should be promoted. 2 quarters of pouring money into marketing with no visible results. Just promote the interns to full-time employees." Arthur hummed, "Mark Ma really hasn't created any significant PR events." I stood beside him, admiring his long, slender fingers writing strong, decisive strokes, and smiled faintly. Mark Ma was the very person gossiping in the marketing department, daring to spread rumors that Arthur II and I were having an affair, and that I was his lowly little mistress. Am I, Evelyn Ye, some kind of submissive female lead in an abusive romance novel? Ridiculous. I don't live in a romance novel. I'm the kind of secretary in a career story who can influence information, and with a few well-placed sentences, I can sway my superior's decisions. Mark Ma, don't even dream of a promotion this year. I'd rather save this money to buy sanitary pads for the women in the company. After finishing work, Arthur asked me, "What are we having for lunch?" The company has a cafeteria, but Arthur rarely goes there. As CEO, jostling in the cafeteria with employees isn't comfortable. When he's busy, I buy him lunch, otherwise we go out. The new Impression Mall just opened an Italian restaurant. The reviews seem good. Arthur nodded, picked up his blazer from the back of his chair. I went down with him, right at lunchtime. The elevator stopped at every floor and people poured in. Arthur and I were pressed close together. I smelled a faint perfume on him, the Silver Mountain water scent I had chosen for him. I turned my face away, feeling a little awkward. The distance was too close if I could smell his cologne. On the 5th floor, a group of programmers entered. They laughed loudly, pushing and shoving. I was jostled, stumbled, and fell into Arthur II's arms. His warm hand supported the back of my neck, creating enough space to breathe. His deep, warm voice echoed right above my head. "It's getting overloaded. Take the next one, guys." The programmers awkwardly backed out. I quickly pushed him away. The elevator was silent, with only me awkwardly smoothing my hair. Damn it, Mark Ma was in the elevator too, looking at us with meaningful eyes. "CEO to Secretary Ye, are you two going for lunch?" "Ah, yes," Arthur replied calmly. The elevator grew even quieter. Everyone broke into strange smiles. "Wait, it's not what everyone thinks. Let me explain. Arthur and I went to the same university. I called him senior. We once worked on a project together. He was a good student. Following him meant a chance at a national scholarship. After graduation, I joined his company for a similar reason. I knew Senior was talented. If the company ever went public, I could get some preferential shares. Our relationship is simply dry and professional, completely drenched in the scent of capitalist money, with no mushy romantic feelings whatsoever. In the restaurant, the melodious strains of a violin played. I perused the menu. Arthur rested his chin on his hand, watching me. He was wearing a custom-tailored black suit, his handsome features drawing constant glances from surrounding tables. To be fair, his face could star in most romance novels. Moreover, he didn't have the usual bad habits of tyrannical CEOs in novels. For example, he was very easy to feed. Whatever I ordered, he never complained. He ate what was available, never picky. The waiter came to introduce, "Today is Thursday, and our restaurant has a couples set menu that comes with a complimentary dessert. Would you two like to try it?" I glanced at it. It was quite a deal. Just the lobster thermidor in that set menu alone, ordered separately, was almost the same price as the entire set. "Then we'll have one set," Arthur tapped lightly on the table. "Yes, sir." The waiter took the menu from my hand, then placed a rose in the vase in front of me. I suddenly remembered he was engaged. "CEO to we shouldn't order this." He raised an eyebrow at me. "Why not? Didn't you say it was a good deal? I'm not someone who treats money like trash for you to order lobster thermidor separately." I blushed beet red. Oh no, he found out I wanted to eat the lobster thermidor. After eating my fill, Arthur went to pay. I was planning where to buy coffee when a shadow fell over me. It was Eleanor Lee, Arthur's fiancée, dressed head to toe in designer brands. "Why are you here? Do you have enough money to pay?" The young lady's face twisted in shame. How embarrassing. Indeed, I don't have enough money to pay, so I took advantage of a workday to freeload off my boss's meal, and it's even a couple's set menu. The young lady's mind seemed to explode. Her sharp eyes spotted the man paying. It's not me, it's him who called you. Explain this clearly to me." Eleanor Lee knocked over the rose. How was I supposed to explain this? Explain that I used my position to arrange meals for my boss, and as a result, for nearly 7 years, I'd taken him to all the best restaurants in the city? I'd be arrested and thrown in jail. Though I was utterly panicked inside, I was a seasoned secretary after all. I flashed a professional smile. "The CEO wanted to invite you out for dinner, but he was worried this place might not be up to your standards, so I came with him to scout it out first." Eleanor Lee was taken aback. "Is that so?" I pointed at the table laden with food. "Otherwise, why would we choose a couple's set menu?" Eleanor Lee was speechless. She thought for a moment, then glared at me. "HMPH, consider yourself lucky. Don't let me see you eating with my fiancé again, or don't even think about keeping this job." I shivered. Don't tell me I can't eat with Arthur too. Even if he only feeds me 2 meals a day, I have to hold onto my rice bowl. After being warned by Eleanor Lee, I felt my career was threatened. As a female secretary, I had to maintain an appropriate distance from my male boss. I believed I had kept a very good distance. All these years, I had never harbored any romantic feelings for Arthur too. I had never even touched his hand. If I accidentally did, I'd immediately stand straight and apologize. But since the future boss lady said I wasn't doing well enough, I definitely had to rectify it. From then on, I stopped going to lunch with Arthur too. I ordered takeout for him every day. After a week of this, Arthur told me pointedly after a meeting, "I don't want to eat takeout anymore." Understood. The next week, I arranged all his social engagements, and Arthur no longer had takeout for lunch. Every day, he went out drinking with old men. Before long, he messaged me on DingTalk. "Arthur too, I don't want to drink with old men anymore." What a coincidence. Eleanor Lee also messaged me on DingTalk. Heaven knows why a young lady like her uses DingTalk. Every workday, I saw her finding every possible way to message me, warning me to back off. Why hasn't Arthur gone on a date with her yet? Have I, the evil supporting female lead, manipulated his schedule? So, it's my turn to manage their dates now? Fine, I added an appointment to Arthur's schedule today. The location was the Italian restaurant from last time. I pre-booked the couple's set menu and ordered a bottle of red wine for them. After sending it to Arthur too, he read it for a long time but didn't reply. Closer to quitting time, Arthur finally approved the appointment and sent it back to me. "Evelyn Ye." "Yes. Tonight you have a date." "Arthur too." "The restaurant from last time." "Evelyn Ye." "Yes. The time is 6 p.m. Arthur replied, "Okay." That evening, after work from the 19th floor office, I watched Arthur impeccably dressed in his suit, get into his Bentley. I secretly took credit and faded into the background. Arthur and that pretty girl toasted each other. Eleanor Lee and her fiancé went on a date. My job was secured. I got on the subway, imagining Arthur and Eleanor Lee in the Italian restaurant, dressed elegantly, enjoying a romantic dinner with the couple's set menu and French wine. Suddenly, I felt a surge of irritation. Tusk, this hateful capitalism. That night, Arthur messaged me on Ding Talk. Arthur, come work overtime. Evelyn Ye, that's not really appropriate, boss. It's already 9 p.m. Arthur used practical actions to show me that labor laws didn't apply to him. He practically kicked open my apartment door. Back then, when I heard that renting in the same area as him would get me a subsidy, I didn't hesitate to move right next to him. I was truly blinded by greed. I opened the door and Arthur calmly walked into my apartment, flopping onto the sofa with a cold expression. A little summary. I resigned myself to my fate and opened my laptop. Recently, my schedule has been arranged terribly. Arthur's beautiful peach blossom eyes flashed with anger. Mainly regarding the food. If there's anything that needs improvement, please tell me. Arthur smiled coldly. You tell me. I observed him carefully. The left eyelid of his handsome face was twitching. He was truly angry. I closed my laptop and gently knelt. If you're talking about tonight's date, it's because the future boss lady has been relentlessly messaging me on Ding Talk these past few days. Why does Eleanor Lee have your Ding Talk? Sure enough, everyone's first reaction was this question. I wanted to know too. Arthur struggled to suppress his anger. She's not the boss lady. If you continue to interfere in other people's private affairs at work, then you don't need to work here anymore. I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. I'd worked at this company for 7 full years, from a clueless assistant secretary to my current position, going through countless ups and downs with him, from a green young master to someone with decisive authority today. Even if I didn't have merit, I had put in the hard work. And yet, he wanted to fire me just because of his fiancée. Didn't he know how fierce Eleanor Lee was? Exactly like a chihuahua, barking at me from the first meeting. If I were fired, where would an unmarried, older woman like me find a job? My nose stung and I pulled out a tissue. Arthur's expression softened a little. Don't do it again next time. He took out a takeout box and placed it on the table, wearily gesturing with his chin. Eat. It turned out to be the lobster thermidor from the Italian restaurant. I swallowed, shaking my head. My complexion hasn't been good lately. I can't eat late at night. Arthur's eyes instantly filled with murderous intent. I had no choice but to glumly eat the entire portion of baked lobster. Capitalist overtime tricks are becoming increasingly varied. The next morning, after the morning meeting, Arthur kept me back. This time, you'll be in charge of the entire wedding organization. I was surprised, but his eyes didn't look like he was joking. I forced a laugh. That's not really appropriate. After all, this is your private matter, boss. The wedding will be large-scale. There will definitely be PR involved. Arthur calmly adjusted his gold-rimmed glasses. I'm intentionally turning a private matter into a public one. So does the bride have any objections? Arthur's dark eyes turned towards me. You decide. I still wanted to refuse, my mouth opening to speak, but I truly couldn't find a reason. After all, the scope of a secretary's duties is inherently vague. Lifestyle assistant also falls within that. Arthur wasn't so weak and helpless that he couldn't manage his own affairs, but look, even his meals were decided by me. When his house was being renovated and he was busy launching a new product line, I was the one who found the designer and oversaw the construction. However, this marriage thing was different from other matters. I felt an inexplicable discomfort. What on earth was happening? I hadn't even dated yet, and I had to manage the wedding for Arthur and that chihuahua. I would be busy running around, while that chihuahua would be wearing a beautiful, pristine white wedding dress, radiant, getting into the bridal car. Everyone would still be gossiping that I was his secret mistress, having followed Arthur for 7 years. If that were true, how much more submissive and long-suffering would my image become? Arthur, you're not acting like a human being at all. I was very unhappy internally, but who told me I was just an employee? I reluctantly opened a new document. What's the estimated time and budget? Time, you arrange yourself. Budget, 30 million. My typing fingers froze. I suspected I had hearing problems. How much? Arthur, sitting in the CEO's chair, said casually 30 million. I jumped up on the spot, paced 2 steps, then shakily picked up a cup of tea and took a sip to hide my inner excitement. Then I returned to the sofa and sat down demurely. 30 million entirely under my responsibility. I had never been in charge of such a large project. How many items were there in a wedding? How many rounds of bidding? How much commission could I earn? Evelyn Ye, your bright days are right ahead of you. Marry, marry right away, please, the sooner the better. I typed furiously, writing the project plan. CEO to I guarantee you'll have a grand wedding. Arthur to kicked me out of his office, giving me a fierce get lost. As a bonus before I left, it didn't matter. Now he was the closest person in the world to me. He was my father. Even if he wanted to marry Eleanor Lee, so what? I, Evelyn Ye, was willing to accept this mother. What dog-blood love triangle? What twisted love affair? None of it existed. The three of us were a happy family. While I was furiously typing away in the office, writing the wedding plan, my phone rang. Eleanor Lee was calling me. Come meet me immediately. Yes, Mom. Yes, I'm coming right away. Eleanor Lee met me at a coffee shop 2 blocks away. As soon as I walked in, I was met with her icy glare. The young lady crossed her arms as if she wanted to devour me. Hello, what's up? I cautiously pulled out a chair and sat opposite her. Eleanor Lee slammed her phone onto the table with a thud. Yesterday, Arthur told me he wouldn't marry me. Explain this to me, what's going on? Everyone in the coffee shop looked at us. I was momentarily speechless by her question. Arthur isn't marrying you? Shouldn't you ask him then? What does that have to do with me? How was I supposed to explain this? She grabbed my chin, pulling me closer. Did you say bad things about me to him? Pretending to arrange dates for us, but actually forcing him to break up with me. I wasn't someone without a temper, but her fingernails were as long as rulers. I quickly tried to calm her down. No, nothing of the sort. This morning, he even told me he wanted to spend $30 million to marry you. $30 million? Sis, you're my only sister. Eleanor Lee looked stunned. I quickly pulled my face away and backed off. Eleanor Lee recovered. Really? You're not lying to me, are you? How could I? I showed her the plan I had just written. The wedding is proceeding smoothly. He's even hoping to marry you as soon as possible. I genuinely look forward to that day too. Suspicion flickered in Eleanor Lee's eyes. You're not planning to swallow my dowry, seize my family's assets, and then kick me out, are you? Stop watching so many romance dramas, I advised Eleanor Lee. She snorted, scrutinizing me for a few moments, her eyes showing calculation. All right then, if that's the case, let's go for a walk and buy some wedding supplies. She stood up, her fitted dress accentuating her alluring curves. She swung her Birkin bag and walked out with an air of superiority, waiting for me. This was truly a hangman banquet. Eleanor Lee took me to Hermes. The sales assistants immediately recognized her and invited her into the VIP room. She snapped her fingers. I want to order jewelry for the wedding. The sales assistant respectfully presented a product catalog to her. Secretary Ye, please sit. Eleanor Lee took off her sunglasses, smiling meaningfully, and patted the spot next to her. I felt a little uneasy. Sitting down, girls like us from places like 1688, a Chinese e-commerce site for wholesale, really need courage to enter Hermes. Eleanor Lee placed the catalog on my lap, flipping through pages and commenting, Secretary Ye, which one do you like? I honestly praised. They're all beautiful. After a closer look, Eleanor Lee scoffed, anyway, Secretary Ye, don't tell me you can't afford it. You don't even get the chance to look at it. I didn't like these words. I can search on Baidu. Eleanor Lee was speechless. Baidu has everything, including Hermes' official website. Other enthusiastic rich people are even sharing on Douyin and Zio Hongshu for us to see. Eleanor Lee angrily glared at me. Why are you looking at me? Don't you know this is the information age? This working-class auntie is also expanding her horizons. The two of us argued, and the sales assistant seized the opportunity to introduce. This is a new limited edition model launched this year. The diamonds are very bright. Eleanor Lee and I silently leaned our heads together, looking at the diamond jewelry set that could be worn from the neck to the navel in the picture, our eyes sparkling. How much after discount? 10.68 million yuan. The light in my eyes extinguished, but not in Eleanor Lee's. Eleanor Lee even used her ruler-long fingernails to tap on the catalog. Do you have the real thing? There's only one matching bracelet. Let me try it on. Eleanor Lee wore the bracelet, worth over 1 million yuan, and admired herself under the spotlights, glancing triumphantly at me. I lost. I lost completely. Damn, those diamonds were dazzling. I felt some good qualities in my life had been destroyed in the dazzling light of the diamonds. I felt my helplessness and insignificance. Perhaps my regretful and humiliated expression was too obvious, making Eleanor Lee even more smug. She casually pointed at a pair of sparkling high heels. Let her try these on for me. The sales assistant brought the shoes, about to kneel to help her put them on. Eleanor Lee leaned back on the sofa, crossing her legs. No need, I want her to do it. She raised an eyebrow, looking at me, a vicious glint in her eyes. Secretary Ye, are you sick? Young lady, are you addicted to humiliating me? Do I look like someone who enjoys being abused? I opened my laptop and immediately created an Excel spreadsheet for budget allocation. Leave, we're not buying these shoes. Eleanor Lee didn't expect me to refuse her. What did you say? You've spent $10 million to order a necklace from me. There's not enough budget for shoes. We should save where we can. Anyway, the wedding dress will cover them so they won't be seen. Eleanor Lee's face was full of question marks. What are you talking about? I seriously lied to her. The $30 million isn't just for you. The wedding also includes the reception, venue, decorations, attire, fresh flowers, drinks, and guest travel and accommodation. Given your statuses, there's also a large sum for public relations. So you see, the expenses are actually very tight. I can't approve these shoes of yours. Eleanor Lee suddenly stood up. I'm buying wedding shoes. Why do I need your approval? I spread my hands. Because the wedding has been entrusted to me. Eleanor Lee was so angry she grabbed her Hermes bag, intending to hit me. The money comes from me, I shouted loudly. All the money comes from me. Hit me again and you won't even get the necklace. Eleanor Lee still had a shred of rationality left. She stopped her attack, her face etched with regret, humiliation, indignation, and unwillingness. I felt happy. Beg me, I dare you. Eleanor Lee threw back. You just wait, I'll tell Arthur to, and stormed off with her bag. I drank a sip of tea the sales assistant offered and tried on her shoes. They were indeed beautiful. Someday, when I manage to skim some money from her wedding, I'll buy a pair too. Stepping out of the store, I received a call from Arthur to, Where are you? This was the man who made me endure everything. Hearing his voice, I felt angry and didn't bother to reply. You weren't at the office this afternoon. His voice grew 8 shades colder. No leave application, no clock in. I remembered this man was my boss. I went out to buy supplies for the wedding. A champagne-colored Bentley quickly appeared in the traffic. Sitting in the passenger seat, I observed his expression. His face was normal. It seemed Eleanor Lee didn't cause a scene in front of him like she did with me. Arthur looked at me. What did you buy? Jewelry? He was slightly surprised. What kind of jewelry? A diamond set from Hermes, 10.68 million yuan. 10.68 million? Arthur lost his composure, but a tyrannical CEO is still a tyrannical CEO, with nothing but money. Leaning his hand against the car window, he swallowed the words he was about to say. Buy it if you like it. I silently picked at the fluff on my coat. The world of the rich is not like ours. What are we eating tonight? Not eating. Why eat? I'm already full of anger. You two spent 10 million all afternoon and you still look gloomy? He teased. It wasn't bought for me. Your wife even wanted me to kneel and put on her shoes. 10,000 unspoken words were contained in my murderous gaze. Arthur turned the car. The day after tomorrow night, there's a dinner party with some businessmen. The list has been sent to you. Later, check if there's anyone you need to socialize with. Come to my house to check the gifts a bit. I slumped back in the seat. The young lady bought a necklace, and I'm working overtime. This world is so unfair. From Arthur's car, I dragged myself to his sofa, watching him busy in the kitchen, cooking beef stew with tomatoes. I ate 2 bowls. Dealing with his wife was a work hazard for me. After eating and recovering a bit, I went down to the basement storage room to look for gifts. Having followed him for 7 years, I knew that in the business world, many things couldn't be resolved by surface rules. They often relied on social connections. Social connections meant exchanging gifts. If someone gave Arthur a gift, I had to clarify whether he could accept it. If he could, I'd categorize it by price, and then, when he needed to give a gift, I'd see who the recipient was and what favor he needed, and give a corresponding item. I shuffled around in slippers, rummaging through a drawer. Arthur leaned against the doorframe, watching me. Suddenly, 2 round bottles caught my eye. Who gave you these? In a single man's storage room to pull out black and white bandage. A brand of makeup remover, I really couldn't hold back my surprise. Forgot. Arthur clenched his fist and coughed twice. Take them and use them. Lately, your face has been as dark as Baogong's. This guy never said anything pleasant. Only 3 words, you take them, were temporarily acceptable. Why does someone always give you cosmetics? I didn't understand. Every year I found foundation, lipstick, makeup remover, La Mer, all from him. Things he couldn't use all became mine. Arthur changed his expression instantly, his face darkening, teeth gritted. You tell me, I thought for a moment. Do they want to see you in drag? Arthur was astonished. Then he let out a cold laugh. Evelyn Ye, I'm honestly afraid that one day I won't be able to hold back and beat you. Suit yourself. I'd rather die. My life isn't that joyful anyway, always dealing with absurd things. As the two of us were discussing gifts in the storage room, the doorbell rang. Eleanor Lee's gentle voice came through the intercom. Arthur, too, I brought you freshly baked pastries. As soon as I heard that voice, I got goosebumps all over. Who would have thought Eleanor Lee had two faces? I pointed upstairs, then at the storage room, lowering my voice to Arthur, too. You go up first. I'll hide here for a bit. What's wrong? Are you into being a thief lately? I quickly covered his mouth. Wouldn't be good if she saw me. I wouldn't be able to wash myself clean even if I jumped into the Yellow River. Wash what clean? Arthur, whose dark eyes looked at me, his voice becoming deep and captivating, even more alluring than those male streamers in the middle of the night. My sensitive palm tingled from his breath, both damp and itchy. I quickly stood straight, hid my hands behind my back, and swallowed. I don't know, Arthur said, opening his eyes wide, feigning ignorance. Didn't you come to pick out gifts? What are you afraid of? He licked his lips. Or do you have some improper intentions towards me which makes you guilty? I quickly clapped my hand tightly over his mouth. If I had a needle and thread, I would have sewn his mouth shut. Bro, don't you really hear your wife calling you up for pastries? Arthur glared at me humorously, pushed my hand away and left a phrase, upstairs, then turned to open the door. I remained hidden in the same spot, not moving because I wasn't foolish. I didn't want to fight another battle with Eleanor Lee. 1 battle a day was enough. 2 battles a day would shorten my lifespan. I had planned very carefully to hide in the basement and wait for them to finish talking. Unfortunately, Eleanor Lee wasn't foolish either. As soon as Arthur opened the door, Eleanor Lee immediately rushed in. Arthur, why did you take so long to open the door? Is there a guest in the house? Upstairs, I heard the sound of her searching every room. What's your business here? Clearly, Arthur was unhappy. He was a very territorial person with a very independent personality. He usually wouldn't allow anyone into his house. Even the cleaning lady had to be chosen for when he was at work. Now Eleanor Lee was running around everywhere, her tone clearly impatient. I already said, I brought you freshly baked pastries. The new Silver Lake Mall just opened a delicious bakery. I waited in line for ages to buy them for you to try. You've brought them, now go home. What are you looking for? Like a ghost entering a village? I heard footsteps coming downstairs and frantically looked for a place to hide, but the basement was a large tea room, 4.5 meters high. There was nowhere to hide. From above, everything was visible. As soon as Eleanor Lee reached the bottom of the stairs, she immediately caught me red-handed. Evelyn Ye, you lowly slut. Arthur, why is she here? Arthur's mouth twitched slightly. What did you call her? Say it again. Eleanor Lee took 2 steps back, both frightened and furious, screaming, Arthur, Evelyn Ye, why is she here? Seeing them about to argue, I hugged the 2 bottles of black and white bandage with one hand, walked around behind them and said, Excuse me, actually, I'm here working overtime. Eleanor Lee tilted half her body. You're working overtime and need to come to your superior's house. Do you have no shame? And what are you holding while working overtime? Don't think I don't know. I also felt that holding 2 bottles of black and white bandage didn't look right. I couldn't find a plastic bag earlier downstairs. I quickly hid them behind my back, coming up with a perfect excuse. Don't misunderstand. This is a gift from my boyfriend. You even have a boyfriend? Arthur, was so angry he cursed in English. He is your boyfriend, isn't he? Eleanor Lee shrieked like a kettle. What kind of dog blood situation was this? Everything was in chaos. Arthur, quickly kick this disgusting woman out. I don't want to see her here anymore. Eleanor Lee went berserk, about to lunge and slap me. Her wrist was seized by a man. The man behind me was wearing a black suit, a white shirt, his hair slightly disheveled from running. He appeared in the center of the chaos, his powerful aura quelling all the disorder, just like every evening. Suddenly, my eyes stung a little. Kevin, add another item to the lawsuit, slandering and defaming Secretary Ye, publicly spreading false rumors. Arthur's voice was more authoritative than ever. Kevin was stunned for a moment. CEO, this needs to be sued by Secretary Ye herself. We are not responsible for employee reputation issues. Now we are. Arthur pushed through the crowd and looked at me, his gaze full of too many emotions. Eleanor Lee's eyes were red. Clearly, I'm your fiancé, and yet you only protect another woman. Ha! Arthur flung her hand away, laughing coldly. My engagement ceremony wasn't announced to me, nor was I invited. I only found out through Mark Ma's social circle. Do you really deserve to be called my fiancé like that? A collective "oh" echoed through the crowd. I didn't know how all this ended. By the time I regained my senses, I was sitting in Arthur's office. A bitter feeling overwhelmed me, and tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. Arthur sat next to me, holding a tissue box, handing me one tissue after another. "Don't be angry, don't be angry." He pushed a hot chocolate in front of me. I shook my head. "I'm not. I know I work hard every day." "Yes, my promotions and raises are all based on overtime work." "Wow. Indeed, you are more diligent and responsible than anyone. But now everyone thinks I slept with you to get ahead," I cried loudly. They think I'm just your mistress." "That won't happen." I was pulled into a warm embrace. Everyone's eyes were shining brightly. "What you've done, how much you've done, everyone has a scale in their hearts." "Really?" A soft chuckle came from the chest I was leaning on. "Besides, you're not a mistress." Perhaps it was being enveloped by the familiar woody scent I loved, or perhaps it was receiving such gentle comfort, but my mood gradually calmed down. More than 10 minutes later, as I fully awoke from my crying-induced haze, I suddenly flinched. "Wait, why am I hugging Arthur so tightly?" I quickly pushed him away. Eleanor Lee had just caused a scene. My reputation was hanging by a thread. I had just declared to heaven and earth that Secretary Ye was innocent, and then immediately I was hugging Arthur too. If this went to court, even an iron wall couldn't protect me and win the case. "She and I have no relationship." Arthur looked at me with burning eyes. "You and I also have no relationship. A single man and a single woman should still be careful." I turned to leave, my fingertips touching the doorknob. I didn't want to be implicated in his private affairs. Arthur's hand reached over my shoulder and slammed the door shut with a thud. "I'm sorry." His breath was hot, making me shiver slightly. "I didn't know she had been harassing you so many times. I'm sorry, it won't happen again." "Ha, isn't a secretary meant to be harassed?" I said sarcastically. "The company's cash flow has problems. Her family has money. My parents arbitrarily got me engaged without my consent. I didn't even go." I was stunned and turned to look at him. Arthur's eyes were slightly red, his bangs disheveled, looking a little weak. "I can't believe CEO to you're being forced into a marriage?" He lowered his eyes, feigning weakness and pitifulness. "Why didn't you say so sooner? I was treating Eleanor Lee like a revered elder." "You never asked." I felt scalded. "Everyone knew except you." He looked up, his eyes full of reproach. "You never cared about me." After returning home, I opened Mark Ma's social media to see the news of Arthur's engagement. I had also seen it there, grand and dreamlike. At the time I had glanced at it, my heart sinking, and quickly scrolled past. What does it have to do with me? Is it relevant to me? I didn't want to see it, but now I could calmly face the flood of congratulatory messages below. And among countless well wishes, one comment made my blood boil. "Arthur, why did you even show up?" "I haven't even arrived." "Mark Ma, is it real or fake? CEO Arthur is in an arranged marriage. He needs to fight against it." And so, the congratulations turned into a long string of protests. I covered my face and chuckled softly. Sure enough, everyone knew except me. I don't know when I started intentionally avoiding Arthur's private matters. We went to work and left work together every day, but we were miles apart. I knew that a handsome young CEO with hundreds of billions in assets would someday belong to someone, sooner or later. It wouldn't be me anyway. So what was the point of thinking about his affairs? Thinking only brought more heartache. Don't care, don't discuss, don't interfere, don't even look. I self-isolated. This was the distance I kept from him. No expectations, no disappointments. However, Arthur never seemed to disappoint or hurt me. I blushed and scratched my neck. How improper. Who goes around looking at social media? A phone call interrupted my awkwardness. It was my mother. "Evelyn, hurry home. Your brother's been hospitalized." My nascent joy instantly extinguished. That day, I handed over all my work to my assistant, then approved my own leave and took the high-speed train back to my hometown in rural Hubei. My brother had kidney disease. Childhood injections had damaged his kidneys, so he couldn't do heavy labor. Every month, a not-so-small sum for medication was a real struggle. That year, I almost didn't go to university. If I hadn't insisted, my family would have married me off at 18. Luckily, I gritted my teeth, borrowed money for tuition, received scholarships, and worked day and night without rest. Finally, I got my degree and found a job in the city, which could be considered changing my fate. However, I could clearly see my limits. Couldn't afford a house, couldn't afford a car, couldn't get married, couldn't even keep a dog. My endpoint was merely someone else's starting line. Like that joke, normally she's Selena, but at home, she's Kiwahua. That's my true portrait. After 7 or 8 hours of shaking, I arrived in the county, slept one night at a guest house, and the next morning took a bus back to the village. My family in the village was considered well off. A few years ago, I gave my parents 300,000 yuan, and they personally built a spacious 3-story house. Yes, my house was built by my parents themselves. When I entered the house, my mother was chasing chickens in the yard. This scene didn't look like my brother had been admitted to the ICU. My mother saw me very calmly. "You're back. Where's your brother?" Still upstairs as usual. I was furious. "Then why did you call me back?" My mother wiped her hands on her apron. "I found a match for you." I said nothing, turned to leave. My mother pulled me back. "You're already back. You traveled all night. You're almost 30, you know." My mother always spoke bluntly, hitting me where it hurt. "Being alone forever isn't the way. The match I found for you is excellent. I guarantee you'll like him." "Oh, please, Mom." My mother patted her chest. "Your daughter is famously outstanding. I wouldn't find you some random guy. I found you a young man who came back from the city. He's very good and handsome." I didn't believe her about the handsome part, but at this moment, the whole village had come to see me on a blind date. I couldn't leave. Lately, I didn't want to go back to the company. Taking annual leave was the same anywhere, so I stayed in the village. The next day, when I woke up, there was a man sitting in my yard, about 1.8 meters tall, lean, with dyed white hair and an earring on one side, looking even more stylish than me. I thought to myself, holy crap, there's a character like that in this village. My mother sat opposite him, eating breakfast. "Why aren't you tidying up? So sloppy and you're going out?" The man turned around. Long eyebrows and eyes, a high, straight nose, a graceful face revealing the lazy, carefree air of someone who didn't worry about food or clothing. He appraised me from head to toe. I was wearing pajamas, brushing my teeth, and in slippers. I originally thought no one in this village would catch my eye. I never expected my mother to find such a handsome man. The handsome guy exchanged names with me and invited me for a walk around the fields. As we left the house, my mother pulled me back, demanding a bride price of 300,000 yuan. "Cannot be lower." I let out a cold laugh, shrugged her hand away. "Just wait. I'll reject him as soon as we're out the door." The handsome guy graduated from a top-tier university. After graduating, he worked at a big company for a few years and almost died from overwork, so he came back to our village to start a business, renting a large plot of land to build a farm. Because of his good looks and beautiful videos about rural life, he was called Male Lee Ziki. He extended his hand to shake mine. "My name is Leo Lee. You really know how to borrow fame." Leo Lee led me to his fields, asking if I was interested in coming back to the village to work with him. In this village, there were only old people and children. He had heard about my brilliant resume and had long had his eye on me, wanting to lure me, a local, back to the village to start a business together. My mother, upon hearing this, immediately misunderstood and thought there was a bride price to collect. "No problem. The work will definitely be better than working in those little cubicles in the city, more freedom." Leo Lee was a famous streamer, not lacking money. Now, everything was difficult, only online media was thriving. I looked at the lush green fields before me, and Arthur II's face flashed in my mind. A serious Arthur II, a dapper Arthur II, a sarcastic Arthur II, and an Arthur II looking at me intently with gentle eyes. Everything in the countryside is good. Green mountains, clear water, birds singing, fragrant flowers. In the city, prices are high, housing is expensive. Every day I jostle on the subway, working day and night in cramped office cubicles. But he's in the city. He's in the city. My job is also quite good. I lowered my head, dragging my feet on the ground. My boss is my senior. He's very outstanding. Outstanding enough that you'd work 996 for him? Leo Lee's eyes seemed to see through everything. "Time to work." I waved at him. "It's here already. The corn is ripe. Let's harvest the corn." I was in the field harvesting corn when my phone rang. It was my mother. The moment I saw it, I felt annoyed and immediately hung up. She kept calling. Finally, on the third call, I answered. "Hello?" My fourth call showed my intense dissatisfaction. "Your husband is here." My mother's voice carried a hint of awe and tremor. "Where are you and Leo? Quickly hide." Why didn't you tell me you were married? Now I've set you up on a blind date like this. This is great." My mother babbled. "I think this son-in-law isn't good either. He has such a hot temper." My heart thumped. "What did you say to him?" "I told him you were on a blind date with Leo. He rushed right out. Looks like he's probably going to beat you up." The phone slipped from my hand. I saw Arthur II wearing a black suit, radiating murderous intent, walking through the green corn rows. Without thinking, I squatted down among the corn plants. "Come out," I hid deeper. "Do you have a knife in your hand?" Prompted by him, I secretly peeked out from behind a corn leaf. "Are you that scared?" Arthur laughed coldly. "So you really got acquainted with a streamer and plan to quit your job? No way, I won't approve it. Get that idea out of your head." He pulled me out of the green leaves. His hand was hot. I instinctively struggled but couldn't break free. "Don't struggle, it's useless." He stared at me. The dazzling sunlight made my nose tingle. He pulled me in front of him. "Evelyn Ye, I've been good to you. I don't believe you haven't felt it." "You've been a very good boss," I choked out. "I'm not your boss," he said, his eyes red. 7 years, 2,847 days, 3 meals, 4 seasons, you can't call me that. 2,847 days, so it had been that long. He caressed my face, gently wiping away my tears. "All these years, do you dare say you truly never thought of me, not even for a second or a moment?" "No." I opened my mouth. Dead memories suddenly came alive. In the library, I sat beside him, collecting documents, the rustle of our sleeves. Eating celebratory dinners together, he would prepare the hot pot dipping sauce and place it in front of me. The first time at the new company, reporting work, he wore a suit, the sunlight from the window casting on his brow. These were all things from a very, very long time ago. Back then, we were both very young. He was a rich young master, and I had nothing but a student loan. How could I not have thought of him? It's just, senior, I didn't dare to think. "You're very good," I cried silently. "I'm not worthy." Arthur, too, was someone whose very name sparkled, born with a silver spoon, flawless in every way. That year, he gave a presentation on stage, his English so fluent I couldn't even understand it. I tried my best to reach his city, but his world I had never even glimpsed. In the year Arthur took over the company, attending business summits everywhere, I had to worry about rent, my brother's medical bills, and whether my 1688 outfit would be formal enough for the conference I was attending with him tomorrow. I didn't have time to think about dating, let alone him. He was right in front of me, but beautiful as a dream I couldn't touch. Just a slight breeze would wake me up. 7 years ago, you thought that way. Do you still think that way now? I've cared for you for so many years. Haven't you made any progress? I won't listen. Arthur gritted his teeth, looking at me. No matter how big the gap between us, I've walked 99 steps towards you. I've tried for 7 years all by myself, and you? Can you take just one step towards me? Even a tiny step, Evelyn Ye? You're not someone without courage. Why are you so stingy only with me? The wind blew across the wild fields, everything on heaven and earth was still. In that moment, my mind was blank. I don't care, I thought. Arthur, too, my arrogant senior, he was crying. 2 figures merged into one. I threw myself into his arms. To prove that he and I were no different, Arthur insisted on helping me harvest corn, then got a cut on his hand. I burst out laughing. So he wasn't omnipotent after all? Still laughing? He shamelessly leaned in, showing me his hand. "It's just a small wound. By the time we go to the hospital, it'll have scabbed over. You have to blow on it, you have to comfort me." He was also very fond of acting spoiled. I laughed and said, "Arthur too." He glared at me, his eyes actually holding a hint of petulance. Then he persistently leaned closer, acting spoiled with me. The sun was scorching, I was sweating profusely, and he was still clinging to me. I suddenly felt that all the distances I cared so much about vanished in this intimacy. "How did you find me?" I held his hand, walking on the small path in my hometown. "You didn't come to work and you didn't reply to Ding Talk. I thought you were so angry you quit your job." Between his eyebrows was a faint worry. He said, "You seem casual, but actually you have a strong temper. Otherwise, you wouldn't have avoided any relationship with me for so many years. Eleanor Lee slandered your reputation. I was afraid that from now on, you wouldn't come back. It's not that bad." I did want to escape for a while, but I couldn't help but come back. After all, he was there. I took a train for more than 10 hours to get here, and I immediately got a big surprise. His phoenix eyes sharply glanced at me. These days, isn't every blind date just for show? My mom tricked me into coming here. That person didn't have any intentions either." "Then do you?" Arthur gripped my hand tightly. "No," I squeezed his fingers. "Since I met you, I've never thought of anyone else." I admit I was weak and timid. If he hadn't walked towards me, I would probably have kept this faded, one-sided love until I was in my grave. It had been too long. Even I was a bit hazy, only wanting to be intoxicated in this dream I could almost touch, never to wake up. Living vaguely day by day, only someone as radiant as Arthur could disregard everything and break through that paper-thin wall. "Don't just talk about me. What about you? What nonsense did you tell my mom to scare her? Nothing. Arthur stubbornly turned his face away. I just called her Mom as soon as I entered the door. That night, I took Arthur away because my mother didn't like him. She liked Eleanor Lee. She felt Arthur had a bad temper. When I told her Arthur was my boss, she immediately took a liking to him, opening her mouth to ask him to buy my brother a new house in the county as a condition for our marriage. I was shaking with anger. Arthur held me back. Mom, I can't decide this matter. He sat on my family's old sofa, looking like he was negotiating with someone else, his long fingers tapping lightly on the table. Evelyn manages the money at home. You need to discuss this with her. My mother was half believing, half doubting, her eyes looking at me with a hint of respect. As we left, I sighed in relief. I loved my hometown, but I couldn't go back. Most people are like that. They have family but not much love. My family wasn't so patriarchal that they'd kill me, but I knew they didn't love me much. I was born into poverty, growing up casually like roadside weeds. The wind blew, and somehow I flourished. In reality, no one cared about me, no one shielded me from the rain or wind except I looked at the hand gripping mine, long, slender, yet strong and firm, carrying warmth. It's okay, Arthur intertwined his fingers with mine, a diamond ring on his ring finger. From now on, I'm your family, be confident. It's been 7 years, it's time. Don't refuse me anymore. He patted the steering wheel. Look, I even drive a Porsche. Is that enough to shut them up? I showed him the WeChat message my mother had just sent. They didn't recognize the Porsche, asking, what kind of car does he drive? Is he a scammer? After returning, I took a week off. After the company was in complete chaos, everyone crying and begging me to come back to work on Ding Talk, I calmly returned to the office, using facts to prove that I, Evelyn Ye, got promotions and raises based on merit. People often feel that the secretarial profession is a bit ambiguous and not respected. In reality, 50% of the company's decisions are made by me. The female assistants of other high-level executives are also the same. Whenever the executive is very busy or wants to be lazy, the secretary and assistant are the ones who make the decisions. In fact, even without an official title, I've been processing work in that office for 7 years. Even if I were a pig, I would still be somewhat of a character. The things Arthur does, I feel that apart from his network of connections, he's a rich second generation and I'm a commoner. I could run until my legs break and still not catch up in other aspects. I, Evelyn Ye, am no less. Returning to work was nonstop overtime. The company's cash flow was indeed a bit problematic because Arthur wanted to launch a new product line, constantly burning money. Don't let his tyrannical CEO demeanor fool you. Our company actually produces snacks, the kind of national snack that's on grocery store shelves everywhere, north or south, with zero technical content and countless knockoffs, but always selling well. Arthur wasn't someone content with the status quo. He wanted to make high-end products. Originally, the company's cash flow could perfectly handle the burn. The problem lay in Eleanor Lee causing trouble out of love. A few shareholders wanted to inject capital, and Arthur wanted to seize their shares, so the cash flow immediately became tight. I saw this as a perfect opportunity to exploit the situation. That day, everyone was racking their brains, not knowing where to find money. I told them my idea. Isn't Eleanor Lee very rich? And she really likes our CEO Arthur too. I want to sell him to her. Arthur too was very alert, his whole body tense like a wild beast about to be discarded. No, how could I dare? I just thought we could provoke her a bit. Maybe she'll give us a big surprise. Arthur narrowed his eyes. That night, I posted a photo of Arthur and me, hand in hand, on my social media. In the photo, both of us were wearing engagement rings. As expected, the next day, Arthur was trending on social media. Excellent. Mark Ma was in the meeting room with tens of thousands of marketing accounts, dealing with the negative smear posts. It's also a kind of fame, with traffic and a topic, so we can seize the opportunity to sell. Arthur was very good at product development. All the word-of-mouth marketing campaigns were already prepared, from flavor to packaging. All that was missing was a breaking point. Eleanor Lee kept him trending on Weibo's hot search for 3 days, rehashing the same story. We took this opportunity to send new products to all media channels. Afterward, the topic shifted from Arthur is a scumbag to Arthur's new beverage has a magically delicious flavor, like seeing hell. With the hotness of this topic, we didn't need to go out and socialize. Investors came kneeling to our door to pour money in. That's how it ended. Thanks, Eleanor Lee. You might get promoted this time, Arthur reminded Mark Ma, if you handle the most important matter well. Mark Ma couldn't believe it. Huh, CEO too, is there anything else I haven't handled well? Arthur smiled and glanced at me. Delete all news about Secretary Ye. Such a big incident, I couldn't avoid being slandered by Eleanor Lee. She kept slandering me. Arthur kept spending money on PR, his attitude very firm. You can curse me all you want, I don't care. But you can't curse my wife. Just as he hadn't taken me to meet his parents. There's nothing to see there. They didn't raise you, so you have no obligation to support them. When they pass away, just attend the funeral. No, there's no need to care about their expressions. Arthur's parents did not intervene in the entire incident. They would just get angry and leave every time he went home. In a short time, they couldn't accept me. You're so confident I'll marry you. We haven't even dated yet, I teased him. No more dating. It's been 7 years, I'm almost 30. Can't wait any longer. Arthur took my hand, tenderly rubbing his face against it, as if he were the young man I had buried deep in my heart during my youth. Right, how far along are you with the wedding preparations? Oh, the design bidding is complete. Let me show you this document. Secretary Ye, you don't need to follow this project anymore. Our wedding, not 1 cent of that 30 million can be missing. Are you afraid I'll skim 20 million from you? Do you think I'm that kind of person? Besides, what kind of wedding is planned by the bride? The wedding is entrusted to me. He kissed my lips. Just leave it to me. Arthur's perspective, early years. Arthur met Evelyn Ye in his 3rd year of university. She was brought by his roommate and assigned to his project. Arthur had met many beautiful women, so the moment he saw her, he frowned. He didn't like women who relied on their looks to advance, who were arrogant because they were pretty and treated men like fools. I don't keep useless people. Senior, I can do anything, Evelyn Ye quickly said. Arthur's brows furrowed even tighter, but Evelyn Ye's eyes looking at him were very direct, very enthusiastic, and very pure, also very frightened. For a moment, he couldn't grasp whether she was trying to seduce him or talking seriously. While he was stunned, Evelyn Ye was woven into his life. He quickly learned what it meant not to judge a book by its cover. Evelyn Ye was beautiful, but very capable, extremely capable. When they went to distribute surveys, she could endure the scorching sun, distributing flyers all afternoon. Then she would analyze all the data using SPSS. Every time they had a group meeting, after the meeting, she would have already finished the minutes. Once, he arranged for document collection in the library's meeting room. The next day, when he entered, Evelyn Ye was still in the same spot, wearing the same clothes as yesterday, hugging her computer, fast asleep. My little sister isn't good at English, so she failed TOEFL twice, his roommate glared at him. And you made her chew through so many English documents. Arthur walked over to her, looking at the thick stack of printed papers. They were all newly looked-up words, but she had finally finished them. Later, people kept trying to elbow their way into his group, even professors from the department. That Evelyn Ye in your group isn't a top student, nor is she your acquaintance. What if we replace her? Arthur, too, was too lazy to even raise an eyelid. She's a member of my team. A building in the department was donated by his family. He had spoken, so no one dared to touch his people. The day the project won an award, Evelyn Ye rode her bicycle to find him. He was blocked at the cafeteria entrance by the school bell confessing her feelings. He wasn't someone who liked to prolong things, but that day, he patiently listened to the school bell's many declarations of love, only because Evelyn Ye had arranged to meet him there and invited him to lunch. Arthur felt a little bored. He just wanted to know what she would say when she saw it. She arrived quickly and punctually, which was one of her good qualities. She rode her bike close, braked with her feet, her eyes wide, staring blankly at the scene. Then she stood behind the crowd, excitedly watching the commotion. She even chatted noisily with the onlookers. A hint of irritation rose in Arthur's heart. He left the school bell and walked towards her, who was beaming. You invited me to lunch? Yes, here. Evelyn Ye was wary. Then where? At the cafeteria, I chose. You're the young master too. No one dares to invite you to eat at the cafeteria. Evelyn Ye immediately deflated with an O. Then she very naturally said, then get on the bike. That day, Arthur sat on the back seat of the Phoenix bicycle, holding Evelyn Ye's waist, and rode through the entire campus. Arthur took Evelyn Ye to a hot pot restaurant he often frequented. Evelyn Ye sat at the table, her hands and feet unsure where to go. The two of them ate a lonely meal. At first, she was very reserved, but later she ate a lot. "Why did you invite me to eat?" he asked as if casually. "Oh, thank you, Senior." She swallowed a small mushroom, sincerely thanking him. He glanced at her. The hot soup and hot food made her pale lips turn rosy, looking very, very tempting to bite. "I won the national scholarship." In the steam rising from the hot pot, her eyes were gentle. "I invited Senior to eat." That's what she said, but when she saw the bill, she almost fainted, her face pale, her whole body trembling. Finally, she dejectedly accepted her fate. Arthur pulled out his black card. His expenses were not something an ordinary student could afford. "I said I'm treating." Evelyn Ye was very serious, opening her wallet, trying to push money over him. This feeling was very magical. Someone was fighting to pay the bill with him. Moreover, she was using a pink cowprint wallet with sheep on it. Women who approached him usually used LV or Chanel, not like her, small and very cute. On the way back, she pushed the Phoenix bicycle, walking beside him. "You invited me to eat. Is there nothing else you want to say?" he asked, as if possessed. She was startled for a moment, then in the chaotic river wind, she shyly lowered her head. "Yes." His heart skipped a beat. He even held his breath. "Senior, if there's another project like this in the future, can you lead me again?" she stammered shyly. Arthur's mouth turned down. He suddenly realized she had never worn makeup when she came to see him. That night, after a long time, he went to the racetrack to race cars again. Looking back, it was from that day on that he began to become increasingly cunning. Before that, he was not like this at all. After the project ended, they no longer had any contact, but Arthur learned to eat in the cafeteria. He had never eaten in that shabby cafeteria. "Senior," he heard the voice he longed for as he carried his tray. "Juniors are truly marvelous. When I don't see her, I always wonder where she is, what she's doing. But when I see her, I feel it's worse than not seeing her. What kind of girl just calls someone, Senior, so casually?" With a long stride, he walked in front of her and sat down. The moment he sat down, he froze. "What are you doing?" Evelyn Ye was also stunned. "Eating." "What are you eating?" "Rice, literally rice. A bowl of rice, a large jar of chili and free vegetable soup with a few sparse green vegetables. Are you very poor?" Arthur, too, was very surprised. "Yes." Evelyn Ye didn't hide it at all. It was the first time he realized someone could be so poor. Although Evelyn Ye didn't dress up, she always dressed very cleanly and neatly. He only thought she was stingy. "But I eat very well in the evening," Evelyn Ye comforted him. "Our kitchen has many dishes." "What? Your kitchen?" That night, Arthur was back at that restaurant, a place he would never go to, watching Evelyn Ye, wearing an apron, busily serving and collecting money. "The tomato beef and egg rice at your restaurant is delicious." Evelyn Ye ordered him a few specialties. When no one was looking, she secretly told him, "I'll give you an extra egg." When she said these words, she leaned very close. So from that day on, Arthur loved tomato, beef, and egg rice, loving it so much that he came every day to order a portion. Evelyn Ye always gave him a little extra. He could invite Evelyn Ye to eat and drink a little something. He couldn't give charity, but he could reciprocate. "You're graduating soon. Have you picked out any young lady?" his father asked. "Not yet, Dad." "What kind of person do you like?" Arthur looked out the window, thinking. His wife should make him tomato beef and egg rice with lots of side dishes. On Valentine's Day, Arthur walked past the girls' dormitory and saw his roommate giving Evelyn Ye roses. He froze. It seemed he had never considered that someone else might like her. She went without makeup every day and dressed like a boy, but she was very beautiful. He watched the two of them talk in the snow for a while. Evelyn Ye's mouth moved. The whole process was very serious. Then she accepted the bouquet of roses. Afterward, his roommate left and she went upstairs. That day, he couldn't concentrate in class. At lunch, he casually asked her, "Did Leo give you flowers?" "Yes." "How was it?" His heart skipped a beat again. "Very good." "Is that good or not good?" "What does very good mean?" His eyes were a little menacing. She quickly explained, "I took very careful care of that bouquet with sugar water." His eyes became suspicious. She secretly told him, "Roses are very expensive now. I plan to sell them for some money. Do you know anyone who might need them, Senior too?" Evelyn Ye looked at him seriously. "Do you?" he said. "I do." His Adam's apple bobbed up and down, his dark eyes looking at her. "You plan to sell them to me?" Evelyn Ye was stunned for a moment. "If it's you, Senior, I definitely wouldn't take your money," she said solemnly. Arthur said he wanted them. Evelyn Ye then gave him the bouquet. "Don't take them back to the dorm. Although I asked Leo if it was okay for me to dispose of them, and he said they were mine once he gave them to me, it still wouldn't be good if he knew I sold them to someone else. Arthur too agreed orally, then turned around and took the flowers back to the dorm. Leo felt something was off. This bouquet looks familiar. Did your girlfriend give them to you? Arthur too casually glanced at him. He felt he was quite mean-spirited, but after that, Leo no longer harbored any intentions towards Evelyn Ye. A little mean-spirited was fine. University flew by. Every day she worked part-time, studied, and saved money. He watched her. Time passed in the blink of an eye. One day, he walked past her dormitory building downstairs and saw her sobbing on the lawn. He asked her roommate. It turned out her scholarship had been taken by someone else. He went to the student affairs office. I stood beside him, admiring his long, slender fingers writing strong, decisive strokes, and smiled faintly. Arthur too felt that it wouldn't do. He couldn't let her go out alone, she would be bullied, but he was about to graduate. Besides money, was there anything else she liked? A wild beast in his heart was going crazy, wanting to rush out. Yes. Evelyn Ye was surprised, as if saying, "What kind of question is that? Then have you ever thought about?" He looked at her. Evelyn Ye was no longer noisy. She chuckled softly. "Senior, for poor people like us, if we want something, we just learn not to want it anymore." The wild beast in Arthur too's heart froze instantly. In that moment, he understood. His little girl wasn't heartless. She was just too poor to have the strength to love. He also hadn't really thought about giving up. He just truly couldn't imagine what the rest of his life would be like without her. He stopped arguing with his family. After graduation, he returned to take over the family business. In his first year, he went to his old university to recruit, offering the highest salary across the entire campus. Hundreds of people applied. Written tests, interviews, screening round after round, until finally only she remained. She was dressed neatly, wearing an employee badge, and for the first time knocked on the CEO's door. "It's you, senior." "It's me, of course it's me," Arthur too thought resignedly. He could wait for her to go from poverty to wealth. "Come on, I'll treat you to lunch." "What do you want to eat?"